Hey there guys, this is Pharaoh2091 and welcome to a special bonus episode of Let's Play Virtue's Last Reward. Now, we already saw the ending of the game last episode, although I was super confused regardless because I'm like, did I just beat it? I wasn't entirely sure. I already explained how the ending, to me, just seems like a little lackluster because it's like, oh, well, now what, you know? But I guess that's why, hopefully, the third game will be developed. As I'm recording this, we have still yet to see if it will be. If it is, and it better be amazing. So yeah, but regardless, this episode, I just want to go read over the gold files that we picked up. I'm sure, like, it's just all the information we already know of, but I said I want to go over them just for the hell of it, you know? So, this is probably going to be, I already told you what I'm going to be doing this whole entire episode, so if you guys want to skip it, go ahead and skip it. It's a bonus episode. If not, then, well, stay tuned. So, AB room. This is where you play the AB game. It appears to be an elevator car. There are 6 AB rooms in the warehouse on floor A. From the left, they are referred to as the first, second, third, etc. The interior to each room is identical to the others, with the voting device in the wall and a hatch in the ceiling. This refers to the door of the AB room. Most elevator doors open horizontally, but this one opens and closes vertically. The door at elevators also include a safety feature that prevents the door from closing if anything obstructs it. These doors have no such safety feature. Each participant has a bracelet attached to their left wrist. If a participant breaks the rules or fails to fulfill certain conditions, then a set of 4 needles in the bracelet will inject them with 2 chemicals, in succession. They only come off in 2 situations, which will cause bracelet, while it'll come off. The person wearing it completes the game and escapes. The heart of the person wearing it stops beating. Attempting to break the bracelet or attempting to force it open will be considered a violation of the rules. AI is short for artificial insemination, which is a process in which eggs are fertilized without the use of a male organ. It is commonly used in the breeding of dairy cattle and pigs, but also has been... Oh, I'm being told that in this case AI stands for artificial intelligence, which is another thing entirely. Word 0 to third says before he leaves. There are a few variations. Have a nice trick, have a nice trap, have a nice trader. Well, this is a long one. A device built by Tom Kwan, a Boise Idaho commuter. That's actually a lie. A quantum computer is a highly advanced machine that uses quantum phenomenon such as superposition and entanglement to perform calculations. Let's say, for example, that you want to determine the prime factors of 5183. A Van Neumann-style computer, let's call him Paul, would say, can I divide it by 2, 3, 5? And just run through numbers like that until I get the answer? Mr. Kwan, on the other hand, the computer, not the imaginary computer, would just look at 5183 and say, obviously, it's 71 times 73. A traditional computer with n bits can only be in one of 2 n squared states at once. But a quantum computer with n qubits, whatever, it can be up of 2 squared n, whatever, 2n squared, to the power of n, right? Well, whatever. States simultaneously. This means a quantum computer can complete calculations that are currently impossible. It's amazing, Mr. Kwan. Someone has written 2 Milkman Go comedy on the wall in the warehouse on floor A. Presumably it refers to a pair of milkmen visiting a comedy club. The sentence construction, however, is obviously wrong. There must be a reason why. Now, these 7 files we already read, because I didn't know what the hell the gold files were until somebody mentioned you might not want to read it until you beat the game. It's a deadly game that 9 people have been forced to play. The official name is Notary Game Ambidex Edition. As part of Notary Game, the participants must also play the Ambidex game or the AB game. What is the purpose of Notary Game? To escape by walking through the door marked with number 9. How do you open a number 9 door? You have to earn at least 9 BP. How do you earn BP? Go to the AB room and play the AB game. How do you enter the AB room? Next to AB gate is a card reader. Just slide a designated card into it and the door will open. Where are those card keys? Behind the CDs. Here's a few more rules for you. Once you open a door, you can hop through it as much as you like. The chromatic doors are like that too. Once you open them, even eye carrot keep you from going in and out of them. Any color brace can go through them, as many people as you like. But, you have to escape before you can take advantage of this free reign rule. Once you activate a chromatic door and gone through it to the puzzle beyond, it won't let you go back until you solve the puzzle. In addition to a number, each bracelet will say either solo or pair. Each color will have 3 bracelets, 1 solo and 2 pairs. The 2 people who have the same color pair bracelets will share the same fates and must vote together as one. This refers to bracelet points. The number of BP will be displayed on your bracelet. If your BP is greater than 9, then you can open the number 9 door and escape. However, if your BP drops below 0, then the needles built into the bracelet will activate. This door is found in the warehouse of floor A. Anyone with 9 or more BP can open the door and escape the notary game. So, in a sense, this door can be considered the ultimate goal to participants. Once the number 9 door closes after somebody with 9 BP has opened it, there's no way to open it again. During his explanation, Zero the Third said the number 9 door can't stay open more than 9 seconds. This is not strictly correct, however. The time period Zero the Third is referring to is the time when a door is fully open. That means if one takes into account the time when a door is opening and when it's closing, it is open for somewhat more than 9 seconds. At certain times, the Sun, Earth, and Moon align in such a way that the Moon is completely within the Earth's shadow. This causes the Moon to appear reddish-brown in color as light of the Sun passes through Earth's atmosphere and reflects off the Moon's surface. Incidentally, this game refers to a lunar eclipse on New Year's Eve in 2028, which is, or rather will be, an actual event. It will be visible only in the Eastern Hemisphere at 1652 UT. One of the drugs used by notary bracelets, an extremely powerful anesthetic, is the first drug injected when a person breaks one of the rules. This drug also appeared in Virtue's Last Reward's sister title, 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, which is true. It was created by Mr. H, who was the president of Cradle Pharmaceutical and appeared in 999. He developed it by extracting, purifying an alkaloid and a variety of mandrake. High usage can lead to some side effects, including severe memory loss. It can also be aerosolized and used as an anesthetic or knockout gas. One of the drugs used by notary bracelets and an extremely powerful muscle relaxant. This is the second drug injected by a bracelet if a rule is broken. The tubocurarine is injected 9 minutes after a soaparill. It causes respiratory muscles to cease functioning, and the body perishes from lack of oxygen. That's a typo. They forgot the O there. Tubocurarine, or tube, whatever, is a what I meant to say. Is a component in some of the poisons used by indigenous populations in South America, which tip their arrows of poison while hunting. It can be counteracted with a cholesterol inhibitor. I'm tired, but it's not clear if the notary game facility has any of this antidote available. Acronym for the automatic diagnosis and analysis machine. This device uses nuclear magnetic resonance and imaging to examine and diagnose anyone put into it. It's similar to the MRI machines you might find in modern-day hospitals, only much smaller and more efficient. An advanced computer built into the device can automatically diagnose most issues and ailments. If the subject or diagnosis is already deceased, the atom can perform a virtual autopsy to determine the cause of death. Radical 6 infection spreads. Cure continues to elude authorities. Radical 6 virus continues to spread across the globe like wildfire. The WHO has confirmed that the death toll is estimated to have passed 100,000 victims. Immediate quarantine of any infected patients is strongly advised. When an epidemic spreads beyond a certain area, it becomes a pandemic. Some historical pandemics include cholera, typhoid fever, tuberculosis, the Black Plague, and smallpox. Certain influenza outbreaks have also reached pandemic, or near-pandemic levels of infection. In Spain in 1918, an influenza outbreak was said to have caused 40 to 50 million deaths. A powerful virus whose worldwide spread is an integral part of the story. If you want to know what radical and 6 mean, you'll just have to play the game and find out. A powerful syringe that uses easily swallowable vials. I understand many of this is already known or easy to understand, but I'm assuming like when we get like more into this, it's like, oh wait a minute, we may find out different stuff, So once again, you can put up with me, and actually I can get rid of this. No more of that metal. Here we go. There are a total of 7 varieties of chromatic doors in the notary game facility, one of each of the following colors: cyan, magenta, yellow, red, green, blue, and white. The primary chromatic doors will open at a specified time. Participants can see how much time is left until the primary doors open by pressing the buttons on both sides of their bracelets. Several conditions must be met by a group that enters the primary door in order for the secondary door to open. There must be 2 pair bracelets and 1 solo bracelet. The colors of all 3 bracelets must together form either the color of the door they're trying to enter or its complementary color. It's kind of hard to remember though, so let's take a look at this instead. Red and blue, magenta. Green and green, magenta. Green and red, yellow. Blue and blue, yellow. Blue and green, cyan. Red and red, cyan. Stands for erotic units? Okay. Alright. EU is a system developed to measure a combination of physical, emotional, and situation attractiveness. It ranges from 0 to 20, where 20 might be Marilyn Monroe and 0 might be Gilbert Gottfried. For the curious, Danny Trejo rates 16 EU. Just being sexy does not guarantee a high EU rating. Not to be confused with competing systems of hotness and sexability, the EU system weighs a number of factors, such as practicability, sustainability, emotional investment, and the bias of the observer. Women have a high EU rating and have usually mastered the arts of the tease. Why the hell do I have this? A collection of films that Temioji, or Junpei, have gathered. Oh, Junpei. Their content isn't really explicit per se, but they still aren't really appropriate for someone of Quark's age. It should be noted that the term does not imply the videos contain grandpas or grandpa-like actors. Ugh. Sigma has a strange verbal and possibly psychological tick that causes him to make cat puns whenever he talks about cats. The cause of this behavior seems to be an experience he had as a child. When Sigma was in preschool, there was a deserted house near his school that everyone called a cat mansion. He'd always loved cats, so every day he would visit a cat mansion and give the cats that lived there some of his lunch. One day he realized that he could understand what the cats were saying to one another. A magical black cat appeared and told him that he had given him his gift in exchange for giving food to his fellows. But, the magical cat said, "You can never tell anyone about your gift," the magical black cat warned. "If you do, you'll be cursed." But young Sigma was so happy about his newfound ability that he slipped and told a girl about it, so the black cat cursed him. His curse was to speak only in cat puns for the rest of his life. Fortunately for him, a magical white cat came along soon afterward, felt the curse was a little too harsh, and lessened it, so that it would only talk in cat puns whenever he talked about cats. And they lived happily ever after. A device that converts sound to electrical signals and transmits them over a wire so they can be decoded and played back on the other end. It's useful for speaking to people who are far away. The invention of the telephone is generally credited to Alexander Graham Bell in 1876, but there is dispute in some circles as to whether or not this is the truth. In the game, there is a phone in one of the cabins. It can't call outside of facility, of course. But what if we can try something like 5309 or 6969? Other numbers might do other things, so give it a try. You know what? And by the way, this path I'm on right now is like the very last one, because I was like, oh, let's find a good place to stop. I'm gonna go back to the crew quarters, because I think somebody even mentioned a comment where you can put in different numbers and you'll find funny stuff. So let's see. Which one was the door? Actually, what door was it? I think it was door 1. That I can use the door in here, or like I can use the phone. Phone's connected. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's try out some of these numbers. I actually looked up on a game fact about what other numbers I can call. So okay. Boob. What? What in the name of... Wait, it's supposed to be an upside down message, apparently. Let's see here. I'm actually gonna have to turn my DS around myself. Gosh, he's illegible. Oh, wait a minute. And the name is like Olay. What the hell is that even supposed to mean? Okay, well, that was odd. What other number we have here to call? 5309 was one of the ones that the memo, or like our files told us. Hello, can I help you? Hey, I got your number on the wall. Huh? She hung up. I'm not gonna sing the song. But look up the song called Jenny. Or 8675309. Okay. There you go. Let's see here. If I type in 3141. The first examples appeared sometime around 9500 BC, a time known as the Egyptian Neolithic period, a new Stone Age, when stone tools shaped by polishing and grinding were becoming common. Often they took the forms of gallets, where plenty concealed inside a wrapping created of ground oats, wheat, rye, or... Do you ever stop? Euler? Hold on a minute. Euler is... I was like, he needs to be some type of... Oh yeah, he's a father He's the father of the mathematician Johann Euler. Well, so, mathematician, dude, I guess. Okay, there's that. And, well, there's also 6969. I can only imagine how the hell this is going to be. Oh, woman's voice. Ready for the time of your life, sweetheart? Only $24.95 a minute. That's a little too rich for my blood, thanks. 25 bucks a minute? Okay. Well, that was that. I don't think there's any more, to be quite honest. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let's continue on with the secret files, huh? Right here, Golem. The Golem is an anthropomorphic creature from Jewish folklore. Golems, or golems, are made from clay and will obey any orders given to them by the creators without question, although they tend to take instructions very literally. A golem is created by performing a holy ritual, then kneading the clay into the shape of a person, chanting a spell, and writing the Hebrew word emet, or truth, on the golem's forehead. Erasing the E changes the word to met, which is Hebrew for death. Doing this deactivates the golem. And the only reason why I know about this is The Simpsons, to be completely honest with you guys. One of Golems found in the Notary game facility. He's discovered lying on a maintenance table in the Golem Bay. His product ID is GTMCMGOLM. He has to be referred to by the last bit, which is of course Golem. Much to his surprise, this ends up being pronounced like Golem anyway. On a side note, GTMGMGOLM stands for Golem Type Male Cockney Model Number GOLM. Interesting. The Chinese Room is a thought experiment developed by American philosopher John Searle, to contest some of the ideas about artificial intelligence. The experiment itself is explained in more depth in the game, but the general idea behind it is to pose the question, do intelligent responses indicate actual understanding? Searle contests that a computer can be programmed to respond intelligently in conversation with humans, so much so that it would be seen to be human itself. But it would not necessarily, or perhaps could not, actually understand what it was saying. Of course, it raises the question, how can we know what human minds are not, in essence, Chinese rooms? Can we really say that we understand the things we say, or are we just simulating understanding? So once again, this all kind of goes back to Luna, and I guess it's a nice little nod to Luna because it's a redhead. The Turing test is designed to gauge a computer's ability to exhibit intelligent behavior, first developed by British mathematician Alan Turing. There was a movie that came out in 2014. I think that Benedict Cumberbatch, I believe, Cumberbatch did, right? The Enigma Machine, wasn't it? Wasn't that a movie about Alan Turing? Could be wrong. The test is 3 participants: a human judge, a human subject, and a machine. The judge engages in conversation with the human and the machine, and if the judge cannot determine who is the machine and who is the human, the machine is considered to have passed the Turing test. When Five mentions that perhaps she and her companions have been captured to perform a test, she was referring to the Turing test. Here are some more AB game rules for you. Not voting is not an option. If both parties refuse to vote, then everybody gets penalized. In other words, one person out of every color group of 3 has to vote. An acronym for General Purpose Autonomous Labor Electronic Machine. Golems are robots developed and sold by the American corporation called Hephaestus Systems. That's a Greek god, I believe. Some of the units in this facility, however, have had their software significantly enhanced by Zero Senior. A portion of them have also been given ABT, created by Zero Senior. Incidentally, ABT is short for Artificial Biological Tissue. The gist of Golem's somewhat rambling explanation is that the center of thought doesn't necessarily have to reside in the body. In the case of Golem, the self clearly resides in the mainframe, and operated in the body remotely. Since a self-aware robot could exist this way, he theorized what would prevent humans from doing the same. If humans are actually being controlled by an outside force, then is there actually any such thing as free will? Stab? What the hell are they talking about here? 4th intercostal, left, between the 4th and 5th ribs on the upper left chest. Stab wound, a wound caused by a knife or other sharp object. Wound margin, clean, continuous. The wound margins are consistent with a stab wound. Wound angles, one sharp, one blunt. This is consistent with a knife wound. Most knives have one sharp cutting edge and the other flat edge, which will produce this wound profile. Wound 2. Wound cavity. The depth of the wound. Frequently, this will match the length of the blade used. Wound length. The length, long ways, of the wound left in the epidermis. Usually, this corresponds to the height of the blade. Wound width, blunt angle. The width of the blunt angle of the wound. Usually, this corresponds roughly to the width of the knife blade, allowing for elasticity of the skin. Not to be confused with a coroner is a government official who assists law enforcement by investigating the causes of death and dealing with the paperwork and logistics surrounding corpses. It can be used colloquially, whatever, to refer to someone who performs these duties, whether or not they are actually employed by the government. An autopsy is a post-mortem surgery that examines the body in detail to determine the cause of death and evaluate any diseases or injuries that might be present. It is also super gross. Luminol is an organic compound with a chemical formula C8H7N3O2. I'm wondering if we had this. Remember that chemical room in 999? I wonder if this is one of them. I forgot luminol was in one of them. Can't really remember. A mix of a hydroxide salt and hydrogen peroxide, it will glow blue when it comes to contact with blood and certain other substances. This property has made it useful in criminal investigations where it can reveal bloodstains that have been cleaned up. Keep this in mind next time you're contemplating how to deal with the neighbors listening to death metal at 3 in the morning. At first glance, Kay's bracelet also seems different from the others. Specifically, it appears to be attached to his suit. Although the design is slightly different, it is not a part of his suit. The bracelet is attached directly to his wrist, which the face is looking out through a hole in his armor. Just like the other bracelets, it will come off when he escapes or when his heart stops beating. A memory condition where the sufferer retains knowledge such as language, social common sense, and so on, but memories of their own past and personality disappear. Its cause is usually psychological, but in rare cases it can be caused by serious head trauma. Kay suggested that an extremely painful breakup may have been the cause of this condition, but generalized amnesia usually requires a much more powerful trigger than breaking up with someone. In fact, a painful breakup often has the opposite effect. You want desperately to forget, but find that to be impossible, which leads to all sorts of other mental disorders. Or so the person sitting behind me says. Twice cooked pork. Dish is made by pan frying pork, cabbage, bell peppers, and green onions of douban jiang or tian mian, jiang for flavor. Words. Paella, I think. A Spanish dish where one cooks rice, meat, seafood, and vegetables in a shallow pot seasoned with saffron. Nasi goreng, an Indonesian dish made of pan-fried rice seasoned with sambal, kicap, manis, and terasi. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Schnitzel! A German dish is made by mixing together meat, flour, eggs, and breadcrumbs, and then frying the mixture in butter or lard. That actually sounds pretty freaking good, but fattening. Word! Yukgingjang, a Korean dish. The process involves stewing beef, vegetables, namul, and powdered chili peppers together very slowly. The resulting meal is very spicy. Sounds like it. Borscht, a Russian dish. Preparation is very simple. You just stew meat and vegetables together for a long time. The finished meal is garnished with beets and sour cream. Tom Kha Gai, a Thai dish made by stewing chicken, chili peppers, ginger, and nampula in coconut milk. Very spicy. Chef's pasta, whenever the chef feels like making. Sometimes you don't know what it is until you take a bite. Sometimes you don't even know then. Word 03 says, before he leaves. There are a few variations. Have a nice trauma, have a nice trace, have a nice trumpet. An emerging religious organization with rapidly growing membership. Some figures claim there are congregation numbers over 1 million in countries across the world. Originally, the organization called itself Free the Soul of Y, but later dropped of Y to become simply Free the Soul. The founder of the religion is also only known as Brother, and his true identity is mystery. Only a small number of the highest-ranking members have ever seen him. The doctrine of Free the Soul demands that its adherents separate themselves from the world, free themselves of lust, and release their souls from their physical bodies so that they can be purified. His followers believe that they will be born again as a new race, and that the world will be transformed into a place of equality with no conflict or poverty. Considering how a peaceful world of equality with no conflict or poverty usually plays out in the movies, it seems like a pretty scary group of people. Free the Soul is a powerful new religious order dedicated to establishing New World Order, and the Myrmidons are like their elite frontline soldiers in that secret war. The general public knows nothing about the Myrmidons, but their actions have put them on watch lists of intelligence communities across the globe. Rumors say that all Myrmidons have the same face, suggesting that they may all be clones of a single person. No one knows where this rumor comes from exactly, but I can tell you that it's a very credible source. The founder of Free the Soul, although he prefers not to be referred as such. As a child, he had a younger brother whom he was very fond of. Unfortunately, the worst thing happened and the younger brother was murdered. Rage and despair filled Brother, and for 9 days and 9 nights he was consumed by his own misery. On the morning of the 10th day, however, he had a revelation. Mankind was rife with base desires and needed to be purified so that a new world order can come into being. God had spoken to Brother and given him a mission. Brother dedicated his life to realizing that mission, and at the age of 26, he established Free the Soul of Y. He claims that Y is a symbol of miracles. Here's some information that isn't revealed in the game. The bracelet put on the left wrists of the 9 participants in the Amdex game has an important feature that's never mentioned. As soon as it's put on, a needle on the underside activates and inserts itself into the wearer. That doesn't necessarily mean that it injects a drug, only that it activates and pierces the skin. Maybe there's something on the needle, or maybe there isn't. All that's certain is that when someone puts on a bracelet, they get poked. That's actually very interesting. Could that be like how it reads the electronic pulses coming from, like, isn't it? Well, regardless, that's why I like reading these gold files. I mean, there's some stuff in here that we may not be entirely sure of, or it may not actually have made mention in the game, such as that. This refers to the Ambidex game. It's fair to assume that AB is short for Ambidex, but it also represents 2 choices each player is given, A and B. A is a choice to ally, B is a choice to betray. When using a voting machine in the AB room, each player must choose to either ally or betray before the time limit is up. A round of AB games played between the members of the group that went through the previous chromatic door together. The 2 members of the pair play against a single solo. Each party can choose to either cooperate or betray. The BP of each player will change depending on that choice. If you choose to ally and your opponent chooses to ally, you get 2 BP. If you choose to ally and your opponent chooses to betray, you get negative 2 BP. If you choose to betray and your opponent chooses to ally, you get 3 BP. If you choose to betray and your opponent chooses to... Oh, wait. Is there more? If your opponent chooses to... Wait, how do I get more? Sorry, guys, I'm just... Well, if you choose to betray an opponent, choose an ally, then you lose 3 PP. I believe so. Or wait. No, it's both betrayed and nobody gets anything. Let's assume that. How do I go down on that? I don't know. Machine used by participants at AB game to register their votes. It uses a touch panel and is not mistaken for an ATM. The manual found in PEC contains the following text in reference to these suits. The air in this facility is kept at a very high pressure relative to the outside environment. This is to prevent air contaminated by the virus from entering. All persons wishing to exit this facility must proceed through the pressure exchange chamber. In order to prevent the spread of the virus and maintain a sterile environment, all persons entering the PEC must wear a specialized hazmat suit. Anyone not wearing a suit will not be allowed to enter the PEC. A type of whiskey made in Scotland. Its unique aroma comes from the peat it used in its manufacture. Scott is Temioji's favorite drink. He often claims a little scotch should scratch this itch after returning from work, which annoys Quark. Scotch is not bad. A well-known drink made by putting a scoop of vanilla ice cream in some root beer. Also known as a black cow, Quark has taken to saying root beer floats my boat, which warms Temioji's heart. He never really was a huge fan of root beer in general, but I'm trying to like it. The facility has 2 stories. The top floor is referred to as Floor A, and the bottom floor is called Floor B. The A and B is supposed to stand for above and below. There's a rumor that the floors were actually named after a particular Swedish pop rock group from the 70s, but everyone involved in this project has insisted that it is a vile and hurtful lie. When a body is infected with Radical 6, the processing speed of the brain is reduced. If we assume the brain currently operates at a 1-1 basis, which regards to time, Radical 6 reduces this to 1 by square root of 1/6, or approximately 1 to 0.408. This means that for each second that passes outside, the patient feels only 0.408 seconds have passed inside. Therefore, when 1 second has passed inside, approximately 2.45 seconds, or square root of 6 seconds, have passed outside. This is why the virus has been termed Radical 6. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide. One theory holds that the disparity in time perception causes the brain to be flooded with massive amounts of information. Unable to keep up, it begins to fail. Whatever the cause, the infected invariably attempt to take their own lives, which is arguably the most terrifying aspect of the virus. Research suggests that a targeted antiviral could kill or at least disable Radical 6, but thus we have been unable to develop one. It seems our best hope is now to harvest antibodies from someone with a natural immunity to the virus. The bodies of those dead from suicide are piled up along the roads leading into and out of town. The entire area reeks with the stench of decay, and the sky is filled with the constant buzzing of flies. At times, our swarms are so thick that when one passes it, feels as if a cloud had gone over the sun. Every day I see more crows, and rats are everywhere, feeding on the dead. Ironically, the only healthy-looking creatures are the stray cats, who have grown fat on a plentiful rodent diet. The few humans who have survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters. I don't know how many were saved, but I fear only a handful. Oh Lord, please let their future be a bright one. This is an excerpt from a journal of a researcher. Due to space constraints, some sections have been cut out. It sounds like someone named the dog Jumpy, but why? Or Jumpy. We know why. You know, I never mentioned Quark's hat. What the hell? You know, it was always weird looking. Don't you think his hat kind of looks weird? That's not a huge band that just wraps around his head. Is he hiding a pair of Ferengi ears? Or Ferengi ears, whatever. Or maybe he's just a young Lobot. Lobit? Well, this is just between you and me, but he's got missiles in there. The sides of his hats are hiding those pods, like you see in helicopters on SAM sites. Except those missiles are tiny, and whenever he gets in trouble, both sides of the hat open up, and they just fly out all at once, like pshh. Just kidding. Actually, he just keeps snacks in there. Really? That's it? I would have thought that would have been like a huge thing in the game. Like, why does he wear that hat? Why does it look so weird? Never mind. An antiviral medication made to counteract Radical 6. More specifically, it's an antibody with a natural resistance to the virus. It was found and extracted from an individual in 2038, and then replicated using an IG replicator. Accelerator injection is the only known way to fight off a radical 6 injection. Now, I want to know who the hell they got it from, the antibody. 2038, that's like, what, 10 years or 9 years after the reactors went up? So, huh. An amazing machine that augments an individual's natural ability to heal, strengthens their immune system, accelerates their metabolism, and can cure many otherwise incurable diseases. In addition, it can create personalized medicines, perform gene therapy, and even repair the effects of radiation damage. What an incredible machine. It's not that incredible if it can't cure Radical 6, you say. Yes, well, I guess you've got a point, but don't worry, it also has a function called Cold Sleep. Cold Sleep uses CAS freezing to freeze the entire body without damaging it. That way, even if the disease you have can't be cured, you can be frozen until a cure is found. There are generally two types of cold sleep. The first type involves lowering the internal body temperature. This reduces your basal metabolic rate, and induces a state similar to hibernation. In other words, your body is still actively functioning, just very slowly. The other sort of cold sleep is the one in this game. This involves freezing your body to essentially lock it in whatever state it is in. Until recently, this was impossible because the expansion and crystallization that took place during the freezing process irrevocably damaged human tissue. In the world where this game takes place, however, CAS technology has overcome the hurdle and has made cryonics a reality. Cryogenics, whatever you want to say. The resuscitation rate is nearly 100%. In fact, you'll be much more likely to die in a plane crash, which means that freezing yourself to visit the future is safer than trying to fly from Tokyo to Milan. Oh lord. CAS stands for Cells Alive System. It allows organic tissue to be safely and non-destructively frozen. In this game, CAS is used to put people in cold sleep. It super cools the subject with a magnetic field and causes them to freeze almost instantly, preventing crystallization. In real life, the problem comes when you try to thaw something out, which also must be done instantly. In this game, however, the technological magic of the treatment pod makes returning from cold sleep impossible, and because it's a freaking video game. November 2018, 16 children were reported missing. In actuality, 18 children were taken, but 2 were never reported. The person in charge was someone we will refer to as H. The purpose of this game was to conduct experiments on morphic resonance with the children as test subjects. I won't go into the specifics here, but the short version is that this was the first Notary game. November 1st, 2027. A total of 9 people participated in the session. They were abducted, just as the children had been, but this time H was not in charge of the game. Clover was a participant in both games, and now she finds herself playing the Notary game yet again. In the context of this game, Espers are people with the ability to access the morphogenetic field. An Esper can increase the strength of their signal by being in close proximity to other Espers, assuming they are the strongest. The strongest signal will absorb any weak ones nearby and use them to amplify their own strength, sort of like waves. The biggest wave adds the amplitude of smaller waves to its own and covers them up. The following 9 people were participants of a Notary game that Clover claims to have been part of. So, yeah, this is spoilerish, if you guys haven't played 999. 1. Ace, middle-aged man. 2. Snake, Clover's older brother, real name Light. 3. Santa, arrogant, uncooperative young man, and who I thought was actually Temioji, but I was wrong. 4. Still Clover, just younger and with a jacket. And crazy. 5. Junpei, hero of 9 Hours, 9 Persons, and 9 Doors, and actually Temioji. Full name, Junpei Temioji. 6. June, Junpei's childhood friend, real name Akane Kurashiki. 7. Asthmatic detective. 8. Lotus, attractive programmer, has 2 daughters. 9. Kubata, skittish man, gets blown up. It's pretty nasty. So, after all this, we don't really know what happens to Ace, Snake, Santa, 7, and Lotus. Of course, Clover, Junpei, Akane, and, actually, that's it, right? We know about them. But the rest? I guess we can just say, we could say that maybe they didn't survive the blast or whatever, but never know. The type of carbamate compound, which acts as a reversal word inhibitor, exciting the parasympathetic nerve. This allows it to counteract the effects of the muscle relaxant tuberculin. It can be delivered with an injection gun like the one you see here. Ice 9 is a special form of water with a melting point of 36 degrees Celsius. In other words, it freezes at room temperature. The idea of Ice 9 was originally put forth by the American science fiction author Kurt Vonnegut, whatever. His version of Ice 9 has a melting point of 45.8 degrees Celsius. This is a rumor that all the water in Alice's body is actually Ice 9. Who knows whether it's true or not, but if it is, then she has to always keep her body temperature above 36 degrees Celsius. This refers to Gentaro Hungao. He was one of the characters who appeared 9 hours on Person's 9 Doors. He was a person who supervised the kidnapping of children who participated in the Notary game in 2018. He is the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical and devoted follower of Theory of Soul. And a douchebag. This theory holds that there is a sort of field where the form, structures, patterns, etc. of everything in reality are stored. This includes abstract things like language, song, thoughts, inspiration, culture, customs, and ideas. Any information contained, transmitted, or created by matter is held in the morphogenetic field. In the Zero Escape series, people who can communicate by accessing this field are known as espers. If morphogenetic field theory is true, however, then it would mean that, in a sense, all humans are espers of a sort. Immunoglobulin is an important part of the body's defense against viruses, bacteria, and other invaders. It identifies and neutralizes certain threats. The IG replicator found in the lab gets its name from immunoglobulin. Factorization is a process of reducing a number to a series of numbers that, when multiplied together, give their original number. When taken to its logical conclusion, this will yield a list of prime numbers. For the purpose of factorization, 1 is not considered a prime. Example of prime factorization. 210 equals 2 by 3, 2 times 3 times 5 times 7. 900 is 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5 times 5, and 107 is 107. 2, 3, 5, 7, and 107 can be divided by themselves, or 1, which makes them primes. A relatively well-known Latin phrase. It might look like it's talking about a pair of sexy toaster waffles. Okay. But it actually means something like, what you are, I was, and what I am, you will be. Sometimes used as an epitaph, the implication that the person in question was once alive, like the reader, but the reader will someday also be dead. A little ominous, I guess. The Special Office of Internal Security, or SOIS, is an elite intelligence organization under the jurisdiction of the Department of Defense. They investigate potentially disruptive and dangerous elements, such as domestic or foreign terrorists, radical political splinter groups, and religious organizations with extreme agendas that could pose a threat to the state or citizenry. Their stated purpose is to maintain peace, but their charter authorizes them to arrest, detain, or even kill. Scary. Apple and Banana committed a serious crime and were arrested. Since they were accomplices, the police separated them from questioning and kept them from communicating. A detective visits each criminal and tells them the following. If neither of you spills the beans, you both get 2 years. If he clams up and you confess, you'll get 1 year and he'll do 15. But if you keep quiet and he gives it up, you'll do 15 and he does 1. So I bet you're thinking, well, what if we both rat the other guy out? Well, pretty simple, pal. You both get 10 years. This is a prisoner's dilemma. Do you betray your partner or stay silent? In the AB game, however, sometimes the most rational choice isn't always the best one. So there you go. This bomb uses the energy generated by the collision of particles and antiparticles. So how does this work? Well, Phi explains. Imagine 2 types of matter that are exactly opposite, like male and female. When they're combined, what happens? According to quantum theory, their numbers add together to make 0, like 1 or -1, and they kind of disappear because they cancel each other out. They call that annihilation. But when they collide, they create something like a baby. Except the baby is sort of pure energy, and a lot of it. So in other words, an antimatter bomb makes an exploding baby. Does that make sense? This is a device that will detonate an antimatter bomb. Technically, it's called a remote triggering detonation signal device, but that takes a really long time to type out, so we'll just use detonator. This particular device has two modes of operation, immediate and delay. Pressing the switch when you're less than a meter away from a bomb will trigger the immediate mode, and the bomb will detonate immediately. If you're more than a meter away from the bomb, however, pressing the switch will activate the delay mode, and the bomb will explode 30 minutes later. A device originally created to weaponize genetically engineered psychic bears. Just kidding. It's actually an arm augmented for online sex chat. Oh, not really. In truth, it's the arm for a mysterious libido-powered robot. I'm just messing with you. A cybernetic arm is actually a mechanical limb that can control your mind. Really? It has titanium alloy for bones, and those are covered with ABT, or artificial biological tissue. The ABT even has artificial nerves so that you can feel pain through it just like a real arm. It has veins that connect to the rest of your body. So if you inject the medicine to the cybernetic arm, it'll float to the rest of your body. The necklace Luna is never seen The necklace Luna is never seen without, has a cage containing a blue bird hanging from it. If you twist the key in the bottom, it plays music. Someone special gave it to her as a gift, and she says it reminds her of the following lesson. Search for happiness wherever you can, because the search itself will make you happy. The three laws of robotics were created by science fiction author Isaac Asimov, and plays a large part in robot series. They're as follows. 1. A robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. 2. A robot must obey the orders given to it by human beings, except when such orders would conflict with the first law. And 3. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second laws. Later on, Asimov has also developed another preceding rule known as the Zeroth Law, which first appeared in his story Robots of an Empire. 0. A robot may not harm humanity or by inaction allow humanity to come to harm. Clearly, the Zeroth Law has priority over the first three, so the first law would have the unwritten addendum, except where this would conflict with the Zeroth Law. Whether or not 016 was aware of this law is unclear, but in any event, 016 did act in accordance with it. For some reason, Sigma, or perhaps the author, seems to be unnaturally obsessed with swimsuits. Why is that? Was he involved in a horrible swimsuit accident, now repressed in his youth? Did he have a crush in high school on a girl in the swim team who put her Olympic aspirations ahead of any possible romance? Is he just a perv? Well, the world may never know. This device can be used in an emergency to deactivate the animated bombs hidden throughout the facility. It doesn't really have any official name. Sometimes it's called a designated computer terminal, but sometimes it's just an input device. The device has a small QWERTY keyboard beneath the LCD display. On the top is a large black cable, which can be attached to the bomb you wish to deactivate. Entering the correct password in the keyboard, it will stop the detonation. In general sense, an antimatter reactor is a system that generates electricity or some other form of power from matter-antimatter reactions. This facility uses hydrogen and antihydrogen. Reactions power a turbine, which generates energy and powers everything in the facility. It looks like a gigantic octopus, but it's definitely not edible, no matter how you cook it. A particular type of antimatter, normal hydrogen atoms have one proton and one electron, but an antihydrogen atom has an opposite, one antiproton and one positron. In November 2010, the European Organization of Nuclear Research, or CERN, issued a statement announcing that they have captured an antihydrogen atom. They claim that they have gathered 38 of them. In fact, they managed to hold them in a special container for 0.2 seconds. Less than 6 months later, in June 2011, they managed to capture several more antihydrogen atoms and contain them for more than 1,000 seconds. Although the creation for and storage of antimatter is still a different obstacle, these results suggest that antimatter reactors could someday be a possibility. TNT is often used as a reference point when discussing the power of explosive devices. Specifically, explosive power is generally described by tonnage. The amount of energy 1 ton of TNT produces is approximately 4.184 gigajoules. That means an explosive device with an output of 1 megaton generates 4.184 petajoules. TNT stands for Trinidad and Tobago? Oh yes, Trinitrodtoluene, whatever. That's it. It's one of the most common explosive, which is how it come to be used as a reference point. A kilogram of TNT has 4.184 megajoules of energy, but a kilogram of butter has 30 megajoules. Butter is some dangerous stuff. Einstein's famous question. But simply, it means that energy, E, is equal to mass, m, times the speed of light, c, squared. It describes how much energy you get by annihilating matter with antimatter a lot, but also it carries an interesting implication that with enough energy, you theoretically create matter. The amount of energy you get by combining 350 milligrams each of matter and antimatter. You can get this number by using the equation E equals mc squared. What do you get when you convert 700 milligrams to kilograms? 7.0 times 10 is to the minus fourth of 0.0007 kg. Then that's the speed of light. What's the speed of light? About 300,000 kilometers per second. If you convert that to the meters, you get 3 times 10 to the 8th, or about 3 billion meters per second. And what if you square that? 9 times 10 to the 16th. And then if you multiply that times the original mass, you get 63 times 10 to the 12th, 63 trillion. Memento Mori, and the ninth line ate the sun. It appears to have been written in some sort of weird paint. Memento Mori is a Latin phrase that translates roughly to remember death or mortality. Ninth period refers to ninth, but seems to have spelled wrong, likely on purpose. Why? Perhaps there's an anagram with words on the wall on the floor of a warehouse. If it is, then what does this one mean? The hourglass displayed in the background is actually a 4-second timer. It doesn't actually have practical use, except maybe for really impatient people. If you were at a restaurant waiting for your food to come out, for instance, hey, how long are you going to make me wait? I've already flipped the hourglass 100 times. Technically, 100 times would only be 400 seconds, which is 6 minutes and 40 seconds, but saying 100 times is much more dramatic and therefore much more likely to get a desirable response from the waitstaff. There are measures of how much of a gentleman you are. Sometimes deep in the United Kingdom is an organization that tracks all gentlemen, determining their caliber based off an ancient and Byzantine collection of rules and guidelines. Every year during the spring, a representative of this organization conducts a cursory investigation of each member's behavior, or at least appears to, and then awards gentle points based on what they saw. The following formula is used. Old ladies escorted across the street times top hats owned times puzzles solved times money used given to gentlemen minus tracking organization equals total gentle points. A small survival knife. It has myrmidon stamped into the flat of the blade. Blade length 150 millimeters. Base width 30 millimeters. Base thickness 3 millimeters. There's blood on it, but whose blood? Several of the hallways on floor B use special locks, indicated on the map by arrows. On the far side, each arrow is a lever. Pulling these levers will unlock the locks. Once this has been done, you can explore the entire area at your leisure. The law of cause and effect. Specifically, that a cause must precede every effect. At the quantum level, however, things aren't quite as immutable, whatever. The principle of quantum superposition holds that every physical system, such as an electron, exists at least partially in all of its theoretical states, or configurations. But when measure gives a result corresponding to only one of them, a classic example of this is a double-slit experiment, where light appears to behave as both a wave and a particle. One of the interesting implications of this is that, in a sense, you are influencing the past. By observing a system, you are defining the cause and effect you witness, and in a way alerting the past. Normally, I would comment here that the quantum level is where shit gets real, but given the nature of the phenomenon, it seems more accurate to say that the quantum, whatever, and I can't read the rest, even depending on what the hell I write or press, it just never goes down, so whatever. Ronald Knox, a mystery writer from the UK, published the following as his rules for writing a mystery novel. 1. The criminal must be mentioned early on. 2. All supernatural preternatural agencies are ruled out. 3. No more than one secret room or passage. 4. No hitherto undiscovered poisons may be used, nor any appliance which will need a long scientific explanation. 5. No one with extrasensory perception or similar powers can appear. 6. No accident must either help the detective, nor must he ever have an unaccountable intuition that proves to be right. 7. The detective must not commit the crime. 8. The detective must declare any clues he may discover. 9. The stupid friend of the detective, the Watson, must conceal nothing from the reader. And 10. Twin brothers and doubles generally must not appear unannounced. 30 different types of card keys are generally found in the safes in each room and used to open the AB gate. Without them, you can't open the AB gate to play the AB game, which means you can't gain BP. In other words, getting some one of these cards is the first step in your escape. The Sun key is used in the first round, Moon key is for second, and the Star key for the third. Oh man, I've been talking way too much. An elementary device that uses rubber to launch a small projectile. Frequently used by adolescent ne'er-do-wells. It can be used as a necklace, but it's not really recommended. The site in question was a simulated manned mission to Mars held in the Nevada desert. On New Year's Eve 2028, the audio logs from the simulation contain a woman's voice, assumed to be one of the test subjects, saying the following. 6 of us are dead. Counting myself, there are only 3 of us left. I guess you could say I killed them. No, that's not quite right. Not just them. Not just these 6. All of them. All 6 billion. Most evidence seems to suggest that this was the beginning of the Radical 6 outbreak and that the Nevada facility was the epicenter of the pandemic. You know, something interesting about this is we never know who that woman was along with the man talking to it. When I first heard it, honestly, it sounded like K and Phi. So it could mean that this might have happened where Phi and Sigma tried stopping the Radical 6 outbreak but failed, and maybe this could be it. I have no idea. Most of it seems to have read that. The general term used to refer to insects in epifamily of Terminodae, or of the cockroach underorder Blattodea, whatever. That's right, even when they're sometimes called white ants, termites aren't even in the same family as ants. They're in the cockroach family instead. Also, king crabs are in the hermit crab order, and a remora is in the Persimore's order. Okay. Words 0 to 3 says just before you leave. There are 3 variations. Have a nice trouble, have a nice tragedy, have a nice trust. A term used in positional astronomy. Put simply, it means that there are 2 celestial bodies appear near one another in the sky. When one used in the context of our solar system, it often refers to a position where a given celestial body is aligned with the Sun. For example, when Mars is on the opposite side of the Sun from Earth, it is considered to be in conjunction with Earth, Mercury, and Venus, which orbit closer to the Sun than the Earth does. Have 2 types of conjunction. When they are hidden on the other side of the Sun, that is referred to as a superior conjunction. When they are lined up on the near side of the Sun, this is called inferior conjunction. This is a photograph that Tenmyoji was holding. The subject is a girl named Akane Kurashiki. Akane was one of the people who appeared in this game's sister title, 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, as a child or friend of Junpei, that title's main character. In 999, she was 21 years old. This picture was taken 9 years before then, when she was 12. Look at the left side of the picture. If you look closely, it almost looks like there's a man grinning in the background. Do you see him? Don't worry. Don't worry if it seems a little strange. The spirit medium had told us that the person in this picture is a guardian spirit who's looking after her. He must have shown up here because he'd heard that what sort of destiny she had in store and decided to see how she was doing. There's a man grinning? I honestly don't know about that one. A way of describing reality that adds a 4th dimension of time to the 3 dimensions of space is described by German mathematician Hermann or whatever Minkowski. And therefore bears his name. It's also the name of a ski resort for miniature cows. Okay. The scientific name for the order in which rabbits belong is 0 to 3rd's actual name. Okay. When they split up at the red, blue, and green chromatic doors, Tenmyoji told Alice that there was something he had to tell her. That something was, of course, his identity, and that he already knew all about Alice and Ice 9, and not because he'd heard about it from Clover. After the second round of AB game, after going through the purple and green doors, Clover, as a solo, was heard to say the following to Tenmyoji, her opponent. What the heck do you mean by all that? It's not fair. If you're telling the truth, then So what did Tenmyoji say to her? The same thing he meant to say to Alice, of course. He told her who he was. That simple fact shook Clover's resolve and made her vote ally. It probably hadn't been his original intention to betray her, but after thinking about Quark's safety, he probably felt he had no choice and picked to betray. It can stand for after and B for before, but they can also stand for anima and body. Everything that happened in this facility was part of the AB project. So, who was Phi? There were a few clues scattered throughout the story, but nothing conclusive. Perhaps the truth will be revealed at the Nevada test site. Oh man, they're really screwing with us here. Like, oh, maybe the third game comes out. Here's a little something more about the bomb deactivation passwords. Those passwords? Oh, they aren't just gibberish. There's something hidden in each one. I can only give you one hint. +1. Good luck! There's a lot more to the story, and I think we'll stop the Secret Archives here. Thank you for playing, and we hope you enjoyed the game. Well, I did, and man, I talked way too much. Man. Oh man, this video is going to be long. You guys probably aren't even watching. I don't know what the hell I'm doing this episode, but you know, hey. But I actually want to know about that now. I'm actually just going to look it up because I forgot the passwords. And I also wrote it. I got rid of it. +1? So, I'm going to see if, I'm sure the internet has already solved this, puzzle. Deactivation passwords. So yeah, Phi, yeah, and like as is a mystery Phi, we'll find out maybe at the Nevada test site. So I feel like my theory about her being the one we heard in that audio thing from the Nevada test site was her. I'm trying to find a website that they're just talking about here. They aren't just gibberish. I don't know what the hell they mean. Okay. Well, the first one... the first one was LXA QNS GDQ. That's Bomb 0. Apparently the +1 is a hint, so in order to get something meaningful, you move forward one letter of the alphabet for each other. So L turns into M, and X turns to Y, A, B, whatever. That's all you gotta do. So LXA... No, wait a minute. Yeah, LXA QNS GDQ turns into my brother. From bomb number 1, BQZ RGJ DXR equals crash keys. Bomb 2, EQD DYR NTK means free Z soul. Bomb 3, now it's kind of different here because our code, and in the European, it was LXQ LHC NMR. That equals Myrmidons. However, in the Japanese, their code is BKZ XCN KKR, which will equal Clay Dolls, which was the Japanese version of the Myrmidons. So, interesting. There's that. Now, crash keys. Now, didn't we hear about that somewhere before? Crash keys, I don't even know. Well, actually, I'm looking up the wiki of it, and I don't know if I even want to say this. Huh. Well, I'll just say this. Crash keys sounds a lot like Kurashiki. That's that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I guess that is absolutely everything I can show you with 999. I got all the endings. There's probably a couple game overs I didn't get because I didn't I didn't solve, like, because I solved something properly. So I didn't get a game over for like that specific instance. But regardless, I got all the character endings, I got all the goal files, I read through them, I got the true ending, and there's nothing else I can do. All I can do now is pray to God that a Zero Escape 3 will be made and finish the supposed trilogy. Because there's, I don't know if you guys don't realize, like, this was Zero Escape, because the first game was originally called Zero Escape 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, but then they kind of rebranded it to 9 Persons, 9. No. It was first called 9 Persons, 9 Hours, 9 Doors, but then because they wanted to make a trilogy out of it, they renamed it to Zero Escape Volume 1, 9 Persons, 999, 9 Persons, 9 Persons, 9 Persons, 9. Wait. 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. My god, I was like, what the hell was the first one? So, this is the second game in the trilogy, and the third one, which we don't even know it's going to be made because apparently these games did not sell very well. We don't know what the process will be. However, I just mentioned in the finale episode that there's a teaser trailer or teaser site called forinfinity.co that looks like it will tease the final game in trilogy, and even before this game came out, it was supposed to say that it was supposed to take place between 1 and 2. So we can always assume that the third game will be whatever happens in the Nevada test site. I think so anyway. Who knows? It better be a crazy game. It must be a crazy game. I mean, they even said like it was full of traps. Maybe that's what they mean too. Is like maybe it's a great setting for it. But you know what? At this point, all we can do is wait and see. But this is it entirely for Virtue's Last Reward. Can't thank you all enough for watching this. If you guys even watched this bonus episode and just me rambling and repeating all information that we already knew, but it was nice just to go over it regardless. So, once again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys for whatever LP I plan to LP next. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.